Alright, and we're back, everyone. I hate to say it, but Spectrum is letting us down very badly right now, and we're having a lot of network issues. That's why the last stream went down, and that's why this one is going down. We've been able to persevere against DDoS attacks. We've been able to fortify ourselves and protect us from, malicious people out there in the world, but we're not able to protect ourselves from negligent people in the world like Spectrum is. So sadly, we're running into internet issues as of the moment, but we're still going to try and persevere through it and try and cover all of our questions. Unfortunately, Zelensky's speech will be cut out, but if you do want to see that, just click on the link in the description below. And also, let me show y'all a couple of things about YouTube that y'all might not know about. That's crucially important. Starting off, when you go to my channel, right here, you can go to the community page, and if anything goes wrong with the stream, go to this community page, just click the button right there, and I have pretty much laid out every single time that these streams have problems, what we're going to be doing about it, and everything. I've also showed when we're going to be putting out our first video. If there's ever anything you need to know about this channel it's going to be on the community page. So just letting y'all know, it's just so that way if y'all have a lot of questions, usually those can be answered in the community page. So make sure to go there. But with that, unfortunately, we will be cutting out Zelensky's speech, and we will be now moving into our question segment. And so with that, we're now going to... Wait, hang on 1 second, everyone. Alright, so it appears that Matthew is asking for this to be a chat. But that kind of defeats the purpose of us running this, because we're supposed to be answering the questions from last night, so we don't have to run a marathon. So, don't know. What do you think, Matthew?
So, folks, I'm going to run a poll in just a moment. My thoughts are that most of the people that put the super chats in aren't here to hear the answers. So to me, it seems a little bit unfair to them that they put in support and they aren't here to hear it. So my suggestion to the enforcer would be just to answer our live chat questions from last night and to save our super chats for tonight and simply run a marathon stream to just to be fair to the super chatters.
So you're talking about taking the super chatters from these midday streams and pushing them into tonight, or the super chatters from last night and pushing them into tonight?
The super chatters from last night.
And we want... Okay, alright. We'll see how that goes. So with that, we're on to the questions.
All right. So first up from our live chats from last night, we had a question from Shippin Studios who said, Enforcer Matt, I heard Putin signed a law in Russia where the citizens don't get weekends off at all, working 24/7. Can you confirm that?
Unfortunately, we can't confirm that just based off of what we know. We can pull up labor laws in Russia, though, and see what those say. Let's see here. We want to find... Apparently there's no Wikipedia on work days in Russia. Let's see about that. With a 5-day work week, employees are given off 2 days per week. With a 6-day work week, 1 day off. A common day off is Sunday. That looks like the answer that we're getting right here from everything. And I haven't heard about that new law as of now. So I hope that kind of answers the question. And also, thank you very much for the support. And if you are here right now, and if you are listening to the stream later, I'm very sorry that we weren't able to get to this when it was sent in. But I hope that it does answer the question. And so with that, we are on to the next one.
All right. And moving on to the next one, we have a question from Mel Cortez, who says, Enforcer, do you think that Ukraine will end up blowing up the bridge to Crimea?
That's a bit of a tough question. Also, when are these super chats coming from again? Are these coming from last night or today?
So these are actually live chat questions from last night.
Okay, all right, just making sure. So to answer that question, I'm not really sure if they would, even if they had the ability to. It seems like if they get the ability to do that, it will be with a HIMARS, and the Russians have already made it clear, once again, they've drawn another red line. If the US sends those rockets to Ukraine, well, those missiles to Ukraine, and then those missiles are used to attack the Kerch Bridge, that could, of course, lead us into a world war. So I'm not really sure if the Ukrainians would do that, and we may add stipulations to them getting those missiles that they'll have had to have not used them on the Crimean Bridge for them to be able to get them. So with that, I thank you very much for the support, and I hope that does answer the question. I'm sorry. Oh, by the way, everyone, just in case, if I do sound a little aggravated right now, working with internet connectivity issues like we're having because we live under a monopoly is just incredibly aggravating. So if I do sound a little short, it's not because I'm angry at y'all. I'm really pissed off at our internet provider. So with that, sorry in advance, but I did hope I answered that question fairly well, and thank you very much for the support once again. And with that, we are on to the next one.
All right. And up next, we have a question from J.L. Stanton, 1968, who says, Enforcer, has there been any word on the Syrian mercenaries as of late?
No, I don't even think they made it to Ukraine, as a matter of fact. We heard about them in Syria getting ready to be sent to Russia and then into Ukraine, but after that they kind of disappeared into obscurity. And so by and large, I would say they didn't even make it out of Syria to even get to Ukraine in the first place. It looked like a large propaganda flick that they were trying to make, and it just ended with that. So with that, I hope that does answer the question. A little bit of a brief one, but there's not really a lot to add on to there. We only saw one clip of them, and then after that, they disappeared off the face of the earth. And so I hope that does answer the question, and thank you once again for the support. Also, just for everyone to know, someone asked, let's see, they said, I don't care if my message was read. Did you guys get my money from the super chat? Yes, we did. YouTube keeps a track of that sort of stuff, but we always want to make sure to answer everyone's questions as well who sent one in, because I know that a lot of people would understand if we didn't do that, but at the same time, I feel bad about doing that, and so we always make sure to read every single one of them that was sent in. So don't worry, we did receive the money from the super chat, but we're still going to answer the question because we owe that to y'all at the very least for being longtime supporters of this channel and helping us to keep on running. So I hope that does answer the question, Jtronics, and thank you very much for being a Leaf Spring Army veteran. And so with that, we are on to the next one.
All right. And since Jtronics is here, I'm going to go ahead and read off his super chat. He puts in a $5 donation and says, F. Putin. Summer 2022 belongs to Ukraine. Slava Ukraine.
And I do agree. It is Ukraine Nation Summer, if that sounds funny enough. And of course, it is their time to shine, and it looks like they are. But I'll be honest with y'all, the summer is not going to be the season that Ukraine excels in. In fact, we're probably seeing them at their worst right now because the Russians are actually able to practice the majority of their doctrine during the summer months because the ground is dry, and so tank units can disperse and actually carry through with normal formations and maneuvers. So really, the Ukraine's time to shine will be the fall and the spring, and of course we saw them shine for sure in the spring. They inflicted massive casualties during the spring months. Summer months, not so much. Every once in a while, we do get a couple of dozen tanks destroyed on a single day, along with several hundred soldiers killed, which is a high number, but we don't see that normally. In fact, Russian casualties have gone down during these summer months, and I would attribute that to them largely being able to continue their maneuvers and practice their doctrines like they were trained to do. But I believe that once these fall months start coming into play, the rainy season comes back around and creates the Rasputitsa again. We're going to see the Ukrainians back inside their element, and the Russians, of course, completely out of theirs. And so I hope that answers the question, and I thank you so much for the support. And with that, we're on to the next one.
All right. And I just got a message from one of our viewers, Mike D, who put in a super chat last night. And he said, could you go ahead and read mine off since I am here? And that actually gave me a really good idea. I also saw Khan Azor said he wants his read as well. So if you were here last night and you put in a super chat and you want me to go ahead and read it right now, we are more than happy to do so. I'm going to go ahead and read off Mike's and Khan Azor's as well. And I'll be looking for anybody else to give me the green light to go ahead and read theirs also. So up next, we have that $11.11 donation from Mike D, who said, Russia crossed the line many moons ago, but my heart broke when you showed the clip of the 3-year-old girl. As unbearable as it was to see, the world does need to know.
And I would agree, and I thank you very much for the support as well. It was a very tough thing for me to watch. I actually did shed a couple of tears over that one when looking at it because I saw the whole entire thing, the aftermath of the poor 3-year-old girl laying there on the ground dead and her mother's legs severed and just a few feet away. I saw it all pretty much from when they were walking down that street to the explosion to the aftermath. And it was incredibly terrible. It was very unfortunate. While this particular instance was incredibly graphic in terms of what we were able to see around the world, every single attack and every single person killed has an exact same tragic story like that. The only thing is that their stories and their swift ends are never caught on film. And so a lot of them just end up being numbers. You hear about 20 people dying in Bakhmut or Kolodny Yar, I believe is Chasiv Yar. I believe around 30 people died, and you just hear the number, and it doesn't really impact you much because you're just like, oh, well, 30 people died. That's very unfortunate. That's a high number. But all of them were just like that poor little 3-year-old girl and that mother. Every single one of them. It's just that they don't have the same kind of, I guess you could say, perfectly made story through the video evidence that all of these other poor people have. And I do agree that the Russians cross that line every single time they kill another civilian because every single civilian is just like that. And so with that, I thank you so much for the support, Mike D. I hope that does address the comment. And with that, we are on to the next question.
And up next, we have that super chat from Khan Azor, who put in a $10 donation and said, "For saving my day from being extra boring, LOL, thank you, and Slava Ukraine." And Khan Azor, we were happy that your day was not boring. Luckily, we did get the stream up and running finally after many issues, but yes, we are glad to have made your day.
And I am as well, the Conazor. You've been around for a long time. And of course, I know that you must be enjoying these streams a lot because you've been around forever. So I thank you so much for the support. I'm glad we were able to make your day. And I hope you're enjoying this one as well. Just to answer this again, because I do see people asking it. We are running a midday stream because the one last night was cut off. And so we're here to address everyone's concerns, comments, and also answer as many questions as we can. And if we don't get around to some of the questions that were asked last night on Super Chats, we'll be saving those for tonight as a marathon. So with that, we're now going to be moving into our next question.
All right. So back to our live chat questions until I see a word from anybody that they want me to go ahead and read off their super chat. We have a question from Pakatang who says, "How can Russia's citizens be empowered to rise up and topple their autocracy?"
Now that's a very tough one because it's a lot of people. I feel like there's this thing I call it the movie effect, and it's where people in the world imagine that things that happen in movies can just happen in real life. I also call this the Warhammer 40K effect, where if you just don't really look at history a lot, you'll just imagine, and I'm not saying you're one of these people, I'm saying that this is what a lot of people go with when they think of uprisings and stuff like that, is that a lot of people just think if they watch a movie and it happened this way in a movie, then it happened in this way in real life too. And so a lot of people just sit there and say, let them know the truth. Let them know the truth. Just tell them what's going on and they'll rise up. And the truth is that really never works. I mean, you could have gone to someone in Nazi Germany in the late 30s, early 40s and told them, hey, there's concentration camps out there and they're killing hundreds of thousands of people in it. And they would have gone, okay, and what? Because they were comfortable and they were eating and they were alive. And so that's all that really mattered to them, is that they were doing okay in their little sphere. And historically, that's the way it always is. The only way to make the Russians rise up against their own government and take them out is if you were to inflict massive economic collapses on the Russians, or start kind of bringing in a famine. People only rise up against their government when they're starving most of the time. Of course, there's a couple of exceptions here and there. I do not include, because someone's about to bring up, I know there's someone out there who's about to say, well, there's been a lot of military coups in South America. No one was starving down there. And those are military juntas, and those are a little different than an uprising. So just to get that out of the way before someone says that, whenever you look at the French Revolution, people were starving. Whenever you look at the Russian Civil War, people were starving. But they had been subdued because most of them were so alcoholic and so drunk at the time that, by and large, they never really focused on that. They were focused on getting wasted. So by and large, you will have to start some kind of a famine or some kind of a massive economic issue in Russia to have that government overthrown. Also, one other example, during the Great Depression, you start to see a lot of radical ideas catch on then because people were desperate. Economic hardships had, caught on to the entire world. And that's why you would see Benito Mussolini come to power. You would also see Adolf Hitler come to power, and that's because they were promising to fix these massive problems that were affecting people's daily lives. So sadly, telling a Russian, even if they know what's going on in Ukraine, is wrong, the truth isn't going to lead them to rise up against their government. Making life an uncertainty where they may starve to death if they don't overthrow their government would be about the only thing that would actually bring around an uprising. And then the question comes to be, is that really what we would want to do? Is to cause a hunger strike inside of Russia. Well, not really a hunger strike, a famine inside of Russia that would then lead to an uprising. Also, just saw Ironwood Workman say the Revolutionary War. The Revolutionary War, you have to remember, was also due to economic reasons. It wasn't an economic hardship per se, but taxes had just been levied for one of the first times in colonial history, and that's what led to really the wealthier people in America, because by no means none of the people who started the Revolutionary War, our founding fathers, were poor. Almost all of them were some of the richest and most significant people in the United States, and then they were the ones that led to the Revolutionary War actually happening. So even at that, while being a little bit of a stretch, it was still an economic reason that started the war. It wasn't just people going, look at the truth. It was an actual day-to-day life kind of threat sort of thing, if that does make sense, however I'm explaining it. But I hope that does answer the question. So sadly, I think the only way to cause them to rise up against their government would be to cause a famine or some major economic issues, kind of like we are right now. So with that, I hope that does answer the question, and we are on to the next one.
All right, and I just got the green light from Eli Lassetti to go ahead and read off his super chat from last night. So he put in a $17 donation and said, I think it's suspicious that Putin keeps talking about having lots of weapons left, like he is worried or something.
That's actually an interesting point, and thank you for the support, by the way. Just want to make sure I say that so that way I remember it was a super chat. But to address that, I do think it's not really out of the norm, but still at the same time, it is trying to show some kind of sign to the world. I'm not giving up. I still got plenty of weapons. And that does show that they are getting a little weak, perhaps. Once again, that's an assumption. We don't have any hardcore evidence. But based off of the posturing, it may be showing that they are getting weaker, and they're still trying to exude or at least claim some kind of power that they don't really have. So with that, I hope that does address the comment. And thank you once again for the support. And I'm glad that you are here during this little stream. It's a small, what's always funny is that I call this a small stream, but even with these kinds of viewers, it's incredibly large for a Ukraine war stream. But I hope that does answer the question, and I thank you so much for the support once again. And with that, we are on to the next one.
All right, and up next, we have a $10 super chat from Donald Lenhart III, who just put in that super chat just a moment ago. So thank you very much, Donald, for your support, and thank you for watching during this very unusual time. Very trying time with the internet service, but thank you for the support. And Enforcer, would you like to add anything to that?
Yes, I would like to also thank you very much for your support, Donald, because it helps us out a great deal, and it is a very trying time. And what's always interesting to me is that people are always rooting us on, and I always find that wonderful because, of course, it's very strenuous and stressful for us in the background. As soon as these things go down, Matthew and me are running around the house, turning off routers, resetting things. I'm reconnecting things here, trying to get another stream set up and running. So as soon as these streams go down, there's not a single bit of breathing room. That's why a lot of y'all may have sent me Discord messages and I have never responded to them. It's because we were so busy trying to fix everything that I didn't really have time to respond to the stuff. So thank you very much for the support. And of course, supporting us through these incredibly difficult and trying times. And now our enemy isn't DDoS attackers. It appears to be our own internet service provider. So with that, I hope that addresses the support, and thank you once again. And with that, we are on to the next question.
All right, and up next, we have an $18 super chat from Susan L., who just put that one in just a moment ago, who says, have a beer and a pizza on me and keep smiling. And Susan, thank you for the support. And I typically don't drink, but at this point, I'll have the beer.
Well, I thank you very much for the support, Susan. And I don't drink or smoke, but I think that the pressures of trying to keep these streams running and fighting our own internet, it will lead me into being a chain smoker and an alcoholic. So I will take you up on the beer and the pizza. And I thank you so much for the support once again. And also, notice that, Matthew, it's not dollars, it's pounds, and so this is one of our British viewers. And I bet y'all are happy right now because this is actually coming on at a good time of day for y'all. It's coming on in the evening. So thank you so much for the support. If I wouldn't ask for you to dox yourself on stream, but it would be cool to know which part of Britain you're from, because we've traveled around there a little bit on vacation before, and we've kind of gotten clued into some things, good and bad, about Britain. But by and large, I think Britain's a beautiful country, and I thank you so much for the support, and I thank you for being a veteran of this Leaf Spring Army. And so with that, we're now going to move on to the next one, and thank you once again for the support.
And for our last super chat for the moment, until I get a word from anybody else, they want me to go ahead and read theirs off. We have a $5 donation from Christopher Castillo, who says, "These peanuts are making me thirsty."
What peanuts is he talking about?
I guess there was a video on last night that had peanuts in it. I'm not really sure.
Huh. Well, I thank you for the support. I don't know what the peanuts are referencing specifically, but of course, we're always appreciative of all of our viewers supporting our channel, and thank you so much once again. What's crazy is that we have 840 people watching right now, and whenever I run these midday streams, which is incredibly rare, I'm always shocked to see so many people turning up, because, this is really just a Q&A segment right here, and we're just talking, so it's always really cool to see that, and I thank you all so much for being dedicated members of the Sleeve Spring Army. And once again, because I gotta plug it, because I found out that not a lot of people read the community page, so I have to just make sure to say this stuff on stream. We are running, just in case you've never heard it before, we are actually running our first video ever that will ever be off the Ukraine war. It's brand new. It's going to be on government cheese. I know y'all have heard that about 3 or 4 times. Some of y'all have, but some of this may be new to y'all. And what's interesting enough, and I'm going to show this to y'all for a second. Let me think about that. Let's see. Adobe Creative Cloud. And then let's open up that Premiere Pro. I want to show y'all, because some of y'all may be thinking there's no way there's an actual video out there. I'm not going to show y'all the video, but I am going to show y'all the file that the video is in. Because maybe that'll get y'all a little excited. I don't know. But I'm really proud about this video. Everyone's liked it so far. So let me open up this project, the Cheese Caves. And it's loading right now, so give it just a second, everyone. And here it is. You could see it right there. This is the video. Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. It's running the audio, so let me just mute all. Oh, wait a minute. Nope, that was the wrong button. Let me just mute all of this. And you can see right here, it's an actual video. It's only about 5 minutes long, but of course, it is something I'm incredibly proud about. It's the first one ever, and I just hope it does really well. This is a really cool one. Government cheese has been one of the topics that I've been most interested about covering. Matthew actually had a couple of ideas that he wanted me to make videos on too, and maybe we could do something a little bit interesting right here. We might not work off of the information we get from the poll, but Matthew, if you would like to run a poll that includes some of your ideas for a video and let people vote on them, let's see what people would be most interested in listening to out of your ideas if you have multiples of them. I know you had the Swift Bank idea. Maybe we could throw in some other ones too.
Okay, and I guess I won't include the cheese video because that one's definitely coming out for a fact. So let's see here, the Swift banking system video. Also, right off the top of my head, that's the only one I can think of. Enforcer, do you want me to add any other options?
Yes, we want to save those changes. So I didn't make any, but yes, let's include. Oh man, why is the map over here? Hang on, let me move it over here. Let's include high-speed rail. We already have the Swift banking system. Let's see if anyone is saying anything in the chat. I don't see anyone giving any ideas yet there. So let's see. We have high-speed rail. We have the last public execution in France, and the history of. No, not the history of trade. That's too broad. I think those are the only 3 options we got right now: is the Swift banking system, and the other ones I mentioned. Hopefully, you were writing them down when I said them because I've already forgot.
Okay, and they are now up as a poll, so feel free to answer that. I'm not sure of too many YouTubers that actually make videos like this where they put out a poll and then they make the video. So this is pretty cool. It's like everybody gets a choice.
Yeah, it's a democracy, and that's kind of what we're all about on this channel. Is a little bit of democracy. It looks like a lot of people actually are behind your idea, Matthew, of having a Swift banking system video right now. Wait a minute, high-speed rail is catching up. The last public execution in France seems to be the one that's trailing behind right now. Oh, it's neck and neck. Swift and high-speed rail are neck and neck right now. That's really cool. Anyways, we're going to move on to some more questions now because I've seen that we're getting super chats, which I didn't expect, but we'll still make sure to answer every single one of them that comes in during the stream. And I pray to God that this thing runs without the internet going out again. And so with that, we are on to the next one.
Yes, and also I want to add real quick, since this is sort of a weird stream right here, I'm not able to respond to everybody like I usually do, and that's what I was doing just a moment ago when the enforcer asked me that question. I just realized he asked me a question, basically. So let me make sure I got everything here so I don't forget anybody. All right. So I saw Enforcer for President say that he wants me to go ahead and read off his super chat. So they put in a $10, excuse me, a $10 donation and say, why do people not want to hit the like button? Does liking a stream do something that makes Peep not want to hit the lime button?
Well, sometimes Enforcer for President, it's, and also thank you for the cool name again. We've told you that a million times, but it's still a cool name. To answer that question, some people just don't like to take the effort of clicking the like button, and also some people find it patronizing for us to ask for them to click the like button. But one thing I do have to note, and believe it or not, I've actually figured it out. When people on YouTube at the very beginning of a video, like within the first minute, say, remember to like, comment, and subscribe, because I know every single channel out there says that at this point, statistically, that actually drives people to like, comment, and subscribe at a higher rate. We don't do that here on this channel. We always save that little message for the very end of the news segment and the question segment, because honestly, I still think it's tasteless. I don't really like the idea of doing that, but it is something that people actually do out there. But we try not to do that a lot. But if y'all would like to click the like button, everyone who's watching right now, all 930 of y'all, if y'all hit the like button, this stream will get out to more people. More people can be exposed to the Enforcer channel and our kind of news that we deliver. And if they like it, like y'all do, they can also hit the like button, also subscribe, and then it just keeps on snowballing. So it actually helps us out a great degree for y'all to like these videos because it lets YouTube know, wow, these people really like it so much that they spent an extra 2 seconds to click a button. So we will now push this to more people. So with that, I hope that kind of does answer the question, Enforcer for President. And also, I highly recommend y'all do slam that like button. It helps us out a massive deal. And so with that, thank you once again for the support, Enforcer for President. And I hope I do have your vote, and I hope I have everyone's vote when I run for President of the United States in 2040. And with that, we are on to the next question.
All right, and moving on, we have a $50 super chat from Santa Dean, who does not leave a comment. But thank you for that tremendous support, and we appreciate you very much. And I'm sure the Enforcer wants to add something to it, so let him take it from here.
Yes, I would like to add something to it. Funnily enough, if you notice, Matthew, his profile picture is Santa with reindeer. So Santa,
Really?
yeah, Santa's giving us a present. So thank you very much for the support, Santa. I'm glad that you do enjoy our streams, and hopefully we're on the good list. Once again, everyone, I have tried to send out as many emails as possible to everyone I could find. That has not included Denis Davidov yet. I haven't got around to him because we've been pretty busy. I also tried to knock out some college work, and right after I did that, we hopped onto the stream. But hopefully, if everything went to plan, we could have someone from the Mr. Beast channel on our stream, Operator Starsky and Denis Davidov, and a couple of others we're still trying to reach out to, on stream at the same time on our 20th fundraiser, which will be happening on July 24th, that Sunday at 10 p.m. Eastern Time. I don't know if anyone from the Mr. Beast team will hop on. I did send them an email. I'm sure they get millions of emails, so they might not even read it. But I've always said the worst thing you can do is try, and the worst thing they can say is no. And so, of course, I've tried. I've sent out an email. If they ever get back with me, and if someone comes on here, or if they give us a shout out or something, that is going to be the success of that reach out. Like, they don't even have to come on here. And I'm not actually asking them for any money at all. That's not what I'm doing. I'm asking them to shout us out, or maybe connect us to something fundraiser wise, so that way we can get more support to Ukraine. So hopefully that works. I don't know if it will. I don't know if they're watching now. Maybe they have someone who's been watching my streams for the past few days, and they're like, maybe we want to get affiliated with this person, or maybe not. So if they are, that's what our goal is. But I hope it works, because that would be incredible. So I hope that kind of addresses that. And with that, we are on to the next question. And thank you once again for the support, Santa Dean.
All right. And next up, we have a $20 super chat from Master Chief 117, who says, I was once in Boston with a Ukrainian, and he made fun of the ancient subway system there, saying that its Kyiv system is much cleaner and more modern. High-speed rail is a good topic, even though California has bungled it.
Well, I thank you so much for the support, Vinny. And also, the Boston Metropolitan Railroad is I don't know what kind of accent that is. Sorry about that. But I haven't really looked at the Boston Metro. Have you either, Matthew? Because I haven't.
I haven't, actually.
Boston Metro. MTBA subway. Let's look at the picture of oh. Yeah, that's old. Golly, man. This, like, honestly, this looks like something straight out of communist times right here. Like, this is something you would see in, like, Belarus, perhaps, but golly, that's old. Yeah, now I can see why he's saying it's antiquated. Let's look at the Kyiv Metro. Well, I mean, well, that actually looks like a pretty modern design right here. It's just that the Soviet-esque kind of like design principles are still there, like this fluting on the side of the carriages. I don't know why they do that, but it always makes everything look slightly dated. But still, it looks a lot more modern than the Boston Metro, and man, what a disgrace. I mean, I didn't know we had a Metro that looked this antiquated and that old, but we need to get around to eventually trying to fix that up and bring it up to standard. But with that, I hope that does answer the question. And also, thank you for sharing that little tidbit of a story with us. And just for those of y'all who do not know, I may have been to Britain, but I've never been to Boston. And one day, I would like to go to Boston and see it for myself. I actually watched a video last night, too, about West Kensington in Philadelphia, which is like some kind of open-air drug market. And I would tell y'all, I would highly suggest y'all don't ever go there. It looks like a pretty rough place. Anyways, with that, thank you so much once again for the support and sharing that little story with us. And with that, we're on to the next one.
All right, and next up, we have a $15 super chat from Eli Lucetti once again, who says, I think the ghost of Kiev is Denis Davidov. He's a man of many talents.
Maybe so. I mean, like, Denis Davidov was claimed to be a pilot, a Ukrainian pilot before the war, and maybe he's secretly a pilot in the background. We'll have to ask him that on stream, of course, and I'm only kidding. Of course, if we asked him that, it would be in a joke, but still, whoever knows. But thank you so much for the support, and also giving Denis Davidov some high praise. I actually was watching, just in case y'all didn't know, I usually silently watch streams. I don't ever really like people to know I'm just hanging out places, but I did watch a little bit of Mercado stream the other day, and I actually saw that someone trashed on our channel, and it seemed like everyone who was watching Mercado's stream jumped on the guy who was trashing our channel, which was really nice. And if y'all were those people who were jumping on that guy, thank you very much for standing up for us. I usually don't like to cause beef with other channels. Everyone does their thing, and that's what it is. And I thank y'all all so much for just standing up for us, because that was very kind of all of y'all. And so with that, I hope that does address the question. And also, speaking of which, it is very cool to hear people talking highly of other channels, because like Denis Davidov and Operator Starsky, they are Ukrainian, and they are actually trying to cover the war as best as they can from Ukraine itself. I'm not sure if Denis Davidov's in Ukraine, but I'm assuming he is. And so with that, I hope that does answer the question, and we are on to the next one. And thank you once again for the support.
All right, and next up, we have another donation without a comment. We have a $10 donation from Jocelyn White. So thank you very much for your support, and thank you for sticking with us on this very strange day. So, with that being said, as the enforcer likes to say, we are moving on to the next one, which is from Philippe Grandstrom, who puts in a $5 donation and says, "Remember to give the stream a thumbs up, folks."
Yes, remember to give the stream a thumbs up, everyone. We've reached 530 likes, but we have 1,100 people watching. And just in case if y'all do not know, and I know that it always sounds like, oh, why is you like, whining for likes, which we rarely ever do. If you like these streams, it helps out our channel massively. So, if you do hit the like button, and you like this channel and you want to help it out a little bit, that helps us out massively because it helps us to reach more people. And so with that, thank you all so much for slamming that like button. I'm sure that we're about to see about 100 more likes on it, or 200, or maybe even 500. That would be nice. But with that, thank you so much once again for the support and encouraging everyone to slam that like button. And with that, we are on to the next one.
And up next, we have a $5 super chat from Raven7, who says, "Denny's and yourself would be awesome. Anyhow, F the bots." And Raven, I couldn't agree with you more. F the bots.
And I do agree. F the bots. We haven't seen a cam bot on this stream yet, but I'm sure that by the end of it, we will. Speaking of which, everyone always wants to see me and someone else. And they're like, that's the dream team. And we will look into it. I think that'll be really cool. So with that, I hope that has addressed the comment. And of course, we're trying to get Denis Davidoff on stream right now. It will not be this Sunday. It will be next Sunday. Operator Starsky is coming on this one and the next one, though. So with that, I hope that does answer the question. And I thank you so much once again for the support. And with that, we are on to the next one.
All right. And moving on, we now have a $10 super chat from Federico Zenolin, who says, "Always leave the enemy a path to retreat. It would be best for Ukraine to take the bridge over Kazatsky and push to the M14 and hold, cutting the Russian army in two and allowing the Russians in Kherson to retreat. Slava Ukraine."
Slava Ukraini. And I thank you so much for the support. And also, that's a pretty good idea. Now, I'm not going to weigh in on it. It's a very good idea. I'll say that. But I don't want to weigh in on it too much because then I'll sit there and I'll start shopping listing off what the Ukrainians could do and what's most likely and what's most possible for them to do. So I'm not going to do that because we're always trying to be cognizant about making sure that sensitive information does not spill out from the public. I know there's a lot of irresponsible people out there on the internet, and someone's about to list one of them off. Well, so-and-so, he showed a video last night showing the Ukrainians in the middle of Kryvyi Rih in the town square, and we saw it on video. We try and stem that kind of information on this channel because that could come back to kill many Ukrainian citizens and many Ukrainian soldiers. And so, I'm just addressing that in advance. I won't be going into that for that reason, but that is actually a very solid idea. And to those other people who are about to say, oh, you think you're important? No, I don't. But still, everyone's got to do their part, and our part is making sure that extra or sensitive information doesn't spill out from our end as well. And so with that, thank you once again for the support. I hope that does address the comment. And with that, we are on to the next one.
All right. And before we move on to the next super chat or question that we have, I want to recap the poll. It's been up for about 12 minutes now, so we have a general idea of what the results are. So the question was, which video would you like to see the most? The first option with 44% of the vote is the Swift banking system video, which, as the enforcer mentioned, was the video that I actually recommended yesterday. And I think that one would be pretty good because I didn't even know about the Swift banking system before the war started. I'd never even heard of it. I'm sure, well, actually, I won't say that. There's probably quite a few of you that probably heard about it. I was just ignorant to it. And then second up, we have the high-speed rail video with 31%, and the last place, which is the last public execution in France.
Well, I guess it's no joke that the last public execution got last place too. But it looks like, based off of this, if we were to do these next three videos in order, we might cut out the last public execution in France just because it doesn't look like a lot of people like that idea. But the Swift banking system video, a lot of y'all are huge fans of. And so we'll make sure to try and make a video on that in the future. If this one's successful, this whole entire video series is kind of revolving around how successful is this one going to be? Because this is where we're entering the actually running these videos, like these other videos on just random stuff, more like a kind of like a TV show, I guess, like with little documentary episodes, more than anything, because we run these streams day in, day out, covering every single day of the war to keep people's attention on it, and then also make sure that Sunday's fundraisers do incredibly well so more help gets over there. That's kind of how we've been running this. And also, we get support in the meantime to keep ourselves alive, which is always very important. But These videos are going to be entirely focused on just the entertainment aspect of it and the information that's delivered. So, depending on its success, that will kind of dictate how our video upload schedule goes. If we get well, I'm not going to say the actual criteria that I've calculated in the background, but if we get a certain amount of views, it will be considered successful, and we'll probably put out 2 of those a month. If it gets an incredibly high amount of views, then we will be definitely putting out one of those a week, regardless of how difficult it gets. Doesn't really matter. We've also figured out how long it takes to make them as well, as long as they're a certain length of time. And if it doesn't do well because of its length, and a lot of people say, "Oh man, I wish there was more information," it'll probably be bumped from a 5-minute video segment to more like an 8-minute video. And if that isn't even good enough, then they might become 10 minutes long. But then again, with extra length comes extra production time, which may slow down how many of them are able to come out per month. But that's kind of what we're looking at all in the background. And hopefully it'll do really well because, of course, the war isn't going to last forever. That's something that we've known well on this channel, and a lot of y'all have enjoyed how we've covered the news here. And while we'll be mostly moving into a video kind of format, we'll still be running streams even after this war is over, regardless of what they're on. But we're largely going to have to start revolving around videos, and so hopefully we can start to segue in that direction soon, so that way when the war ends, the channel doesn't even run into a single roadblock, and we just keep on the way we were before. And so with that, I hope that doesn't. I hope that answers the question. Also, just in case if anyone misunderstood that, I'm not saying that we're going to be getting off the Ukraine war anytime soon. We're going to be covering this until the end of the war. But in the meantime, we're still going to be trying to make videos and stuff that will just be interesting to the common person on just various topics. And so with that, I hope that does address that little bit. And with that, we're on to the next one.
Okay, and real quick, I just want to mention I saw somebody in the live chat say, "Do I have to donate to have my question answered?" And no, you do not. You can always just tag either me or the enforcer and tell us what your question is, and I will put it in the spreadsheet, and you do not have to put in a super chat. Obviously, we appreciate everybody that does super chat, but it isn't necessary to have a question answered. So moving on to the next one we have a $20 super chat from MMC who says, as president, would you advocate the creation of a strategic grain reserve? I understand wheat has long storage characteristics.
That's actually a great question, and I think I can answer that one because no one really talks about that politically here in the United States. Something that a lot of people do not know here in America, and I think this it's probably not news to you. You probably know this, but it's still something very interesting, is that the United States already heavily regulates our food market. And in fact, we have such a surplus of food production every single year. The United States has never really had to focus on making a grain reserve because we have to pay people to destroy the food because there's just so much of it made per year. That's kind of the same with the milk industry, which is what we're going to be talking about with the government cheese video. But I'm going to save that specific topic for the video itself, so that way, I'm not taking the fire out of the thing before it even gets here. But still, I don't think we would have to make one. Because right now our food production is just so over the top that if we ever really needed extra grain, we just pay less farmers to destroy their crops, and then those crops will be sold on the market. So that kind of would fix the issues right there. So I hope that kind of answers the question. I don't necessarily think that's something we need to do. And also another thing that a lot of people don't know about is that the apples you eat are not fresh. Almost never are they fresh. They're actually from last year. And that's almost how all of our food stores work in the US, is that we're usually able to keep most of our foodstuffs around for about 1.5 to 2 years sometimes. And that's almost for every single kind of food item there is. And so a lot of your apples that you're eating right now were picked around the same time last year, coated in a protective layer of wax that's incredibly thin and it stays on it even when you're eating it right now. And they put these into massive silos that are refrigerated, or they put them inside of caves, which is the usual way of storing food that's cold, and it's incredibly cheap because you don't have to air condition a cave, it just stays cold. And they keep it there forever until they need to pull them back out, probably about a year later, and then they ship them to your supermarkets. And that's how you get apples. And that kind of principle is pretty much like the defining keystone of food storage in the entire food industry in the US. So we're never going to run out of food, really, to ever have to get to a point like that. And I pray that nothing goes terrible, so that way we don't ever actually have to think about that. So with that, I hope that does answer the question. And with that, we're on to the next one.
All right. And up next, we have a $10 super chat from Federico Zenolin once again, who says, "Thank you for your responsibility. I understand you guys rock and keep it up on the awesome work."
Can you reread that one again? I just got an email. And I was like, what? It was an important one, so
Y-
can you reread that 1 second?
Yeah, Federico said, "Thank you for your responsibility. I understand you guys rock and keep up the awesome work."
And thank you so much for the kind words. We try and stay as responsible as possible with this and make sure that we do run these streams and answer everyone's questions that did want one answered. And I thank you so much for appreciating that. We put in a massive amount of effort. And also, one other thing, y'all are going to find this outrageous, is that I actually saw a comment in my comments section. I made the mistake of scrolling through it the other day, which I rarely ever do now. Um, and I saw someone say, "Oh yeah, the enforcer," and of course they got banned, but they said this, "Oh yeah, the enforcer, he pays for bots to come into the comments section and comment in the comments to make it look like the channel has any activity and is dead rather than that." So if you want to let that guy know he's wrong, because he's probably still watching, because usually our haters are very obsessed with our channel, just comment that you are real in the comments section to let them know that you're not a bot, you're an actual person. So with that, I hope that does address the question in some ways that weren't even expected. And of course, thank you so much for enjoying our channel and also giving us high kudos, both me and Matthew. And so with that, we are on to the next question, and thank you once again for the support.
And real quick, just for those asking, this stream is just to make up for last night's outage that we had. We weren't able to finish the stream, and mainly we weren't able to finish the super chats or the questions. So that is what this stream is for. And we are moving on to the next super chat, which is from Paul Smalzer, who puts in a $5 donation and says, "The fluting on the side of the metro cars stiffens the sheet metal."
Interesting. I actually didn't know that. So thank you very much for sharing that to us. And I guess that's why all Soviet trains and post-Soviet trains kind of have that feature on them. The chat's blowing up right now, which is pretty cool to see. And I thank you all so much for confirming y'all aren't bots. If y'all were on my payroll, I think I would know. But with that, thank you once again for the support and also for sharing that interesting tidbit of information to us about why the sides of the rail cars are fluted. And so with that, we're going to move on to the next question, and thank you once again for the support.
All right. And real quick, let me grab one more super chat before I miss it. The chat is still blowing up like crazy. Um, and really, whenever I see somebody put "I'm not a bot" in the chat, usually that's the first thing that tips me off that they are a bot. So that's pretty funny to see everybody saying that at the same time. But anyways, up next we have a $100 super chat from Kevin Hansen, who does not leave a comment. But Kevin, that is very generous support, and we appreciate you very much.
And that's massive amount of support, Kevin. I don't even know if you super chatted before. Has he? Because I don't remember it.
I think that might be his first one potentially.
If that's your first one, Kevin, you are incredibly generous, and I thank you so much for helping out this channel like that. It's just I'm always at a loss for words and support like that. I just want you to know I'm greatly appreciative as well as Matthew. You're helping to keep the lights on here at the Enforcer HQ, helping us to pay for college, and helping us to hopefully save up for law school as well. Although I don't know about that. Law school is really expensive. I don't know if we can ever save up that much. But with that, I thank you so much once again for the support, Kevin. It's massively appreciated. And so, thank you from the bottom of my heart. And I bet Matthew would like to thank you as well.
And yes, thank you very much from me as well. All of the donations help keep the channel running. Without it, we would be in some foul shape.
And so with that, now that we've covered that, thank you once again, Kevin, and we're on to the next question.
All right. And let me make sure I'm not organized, so I'm out of sorts right now. So I'm trying to make sure I'm not missing anything. So up next, we have a $20 super chat from Uber Khan. Super chat. Or as I think the enforcer said one time, super chat. But
yeah, I did.
But anyways, back to the super chat. We have a $20 donation from Uber Khan, who says, "Beep boop, I'm not a bot." And that's very convincing,
Ban
and
him.
I don't believe you're a bot.
I'm just playing UberCon, and thank you so much for the support. And I absolutely can't stand, like, I'll be honest with y'all. I would believe conspiracy theories occasionally about certain people being with certain organizations here and there years ago. And I was kind of on the fence a little bit now. Well, not now. I'm talking about months ago before I started these streams. But as I have sat here as a person inside of a basement doing this thing entirely on my own just because I wanted to, and I've been called a CIA operative, I've been called a Western shill paid by the United Nations to say this stuff. I've been called a million things to the point that I do not believe a single conspiracy theory now when someone says that someone's a lizard person or they're working for the Illuminati or something like that, because I've been called just about everything under the sun, and I've literally started this thing from the bottom, and now we're here. That sounds like a song. That actually is a song. Started from the bottom, now we're here. But anyways, yeah, I don't even believe anymore that kind of stuff. But it's always silly to me. And maybe in the future we will do a video where I cover hate comments on this channel, because I know that a lot of channels do that occasionally, and they are hilarious when you hear them. I bet a lot of y'all would bust out laughing at them, and some of y'all are asking sometimes, where are they, because y'all can't really find them, and I find that kind of nice that y'all can't, but I'll try and put them up eventually, maybe make a video about it. But with that, I thank you so much for the support, and beep boop, I'm not a bot, and we're on to the next question.
All right. And up next, we have a $22 donation from Mech Tactical, who says, "My boy, keep slaying it, brother. Day 2, OG here. That being said, made me gain 10 pounds from all the beer. Love you, dude, and I never missed a single stream."
My boy! I thank you so much for the support, Mech Tactical. Also, day 2, man, you've literally been around forever. Now, this is one thing I have noticed. I've noticed more people claiming that they've been a day 1 viewer than I had viewers on day 1. I have noticed that, but day 2 is believable. I will believe you on that one. So, I thank you so much for the support, Mech Tactical, and also, I hate to hear that you're having such a weight gain issue with me saying that being said. That being said, it's always a tough thing to lose weight. And so with that being said, I thank you once again for the support. It always does help with this channel a lot. And I'm glad that you've never missed a single stream. I know that every once in a while, everyone does, but they always watch it on review. And just for y'all to know, under official enforcer rules, if you do miss the live stream, but you watch the replay of it the day after, I still count that as never missing a stream. So with that, I hope that answers the question, and thank you once again for the support, Mech Tactical. So we're on to the next one.
And up next, we have a $10 super chat from Dave, who says, "I finally made my pilgrimage. I've been here since day 10. And congratulations, Dave, for finally catching a live stream."
Yeah, congratulations, Dave. Everyone's always making their pilgrimages every once in a while to a live stream. Of course, this is a rare one. And this is kind of weird because I kind of joke around in my own head, never really said this aloud, but a lot of people treat my stream like the Mecha Stone. And like, every once in a while someone will be like, "I made it," almost like someone who makes it to Mecha. They're always like, "I made it." But still, it's great to hear that you are on, and I hope you're having a fun time with the stream. And unlike the Mecha Stone, the live streams can actually move around a little bit, and that's probably why you're able to finally catch it live, is that it's a midday stream before our 10 p.m. stream tonight. And so with that, I hope that does address the comment, and thank you once again for the support. And with that, we are on to the next one.
All right. And up next, we have a super chat from Doot G 1986. I'm not really sure how to say that, but let me know in the live chat because I'm definitely not pronouncing that correctly. Let's see. Is it Dodo? I can't do TG. I can't. How do you say that, Enforcer?
Doodoo J?
Doo. Does it say doo though?
I don't know. I don't do. I don't know.
I don't know, but thank you for your support. They put in a $100 super chat, I think, and they say, "You may call me Ashley from the Netherlands, no question. I'm happy I finally got you guys live, and keep up the good work."
What in the world did you have us focusing on the name for? We can just call her Ashley.
There we go.
Yeah, thank you so much for the support, Ashley. And also, that's really cool to hear you're from the Netherlands. Netherlands is a cool place, known for their dikes and levees, which I actually am really interested in. And speaking of which, guess what, everyone? That's another video idea, is the dikes and levees of the Netherlands, which is something that a lot of people don't talk about these days, but are incredibly cool technologically. So thank you so much for the support, Ashley. And also, we're finally happy to be live as well. We've been working hard to get to this point, and we finally did it again. So hopefully there will be no problems tonight. We haven't had any problems so far. And with that, I hope I have answered the question, and we are on to the next one. And thank you once again for the massive support.
All right. And up next, we have another super chat from Mech Tactical, who puts in a $22 donation this time and says, LOL, you misunderstood. We used to have to take a drink every time you said that being said. Let's jog your memory. They still haven't found a chopper strong enough to lift Zelensky's giant balls.
Well, I thank you for the support, Mick Tactical, but jog my memory. That's why I said that being said so many times when I addressed the last super chat, is that you're still supposed to be drinking. So get the Stein out, fill that thing up. You owe me about 6 of them right now. So with that, thank you so much for the support once again. I do remember that, and while we haven't made that joke recently, I just kind of thought that was a standing thing that everyone was still doing in the background, so I just kind of stopped mentioning it. But still, they have not found a helicopter big enough to lift, powerful enough to lift Zelensky's balls. We have been looking into that, though. The Antonov 225 is not a helicopter, but it was about the best they could get. But sadly, that thing was destroyed, and they're trying to rebuild a new one right now. And that's also why Zelensky has not traveled abroad, is because no aircraft can just carry the weight of his balls to even get him somewhere. And so we're still looking into trying to fixing that problem. But with that, I thank you so much once again for the support, Mech Tactical. I hope that does address the question or the comment. And with that, we are on to the next one. And also, how many do we have left?
So it looks like at the moment, we currently have just 3 super chats left and a handful of live chat questions.
All right. And so with that, we're going to answer these remaining super chats, and then we're going to answer a lot of live chat questions, and then we're going to round out this little fireside chat. And so with that, on to the next one.
All right. So up next, I want to recognize a $5 donation from David Spriggs. David doesn't leave a comment, but thank you very much for your support. It is very much appreciated as always. And up next, we have a $5 super chat from Adenasu or something like that, who says, F Putin and F Spectrum. Thanks for pushing through the tech issues the best you can.
And thank you so much for the support and understanding that we cannot control the internet. I don't know why there's people out there who just act like because they demand something, people can control it. Because we do have the occasional viewer who goes, you need to fix your internet, dude, or I'm leaving. Like, what am I supposed to? Like, that's like sitting there and saying, dude, you need to go out and repave the interstate or I'm leaving. You know, it's like, how in the world am I supposed to repave the interstate? And that's the same thing with the internet. It's such a large infrastructure issue that it's like, how am I supposed to single-handedly address that? So I thank you very much for understanding where we're coming from with that. Sadly, we can't fix those kinds of issues. Wish we could, though. But of course, F Putin and F the bots. And so thank you once again for being a member of this Leaf Spring Army and supporting us and helping us to keep running. And with that, we are on to the next one. Before we move on to the next one, I would like to actually say, and we have not done this in ages, but I'm going to have to put a cutoff on our super chats for the night. So I highly suggest that y'all do not send any more. We're going to try and answer the ones we have left. And after we answer those, we'll then be moving on into our live chat questions. And then we'll be rounding out this little stream. If you would like to send in a super chat and have it answered, you can, of course, do that later tonight. Tonight's going to be a marathon stream. We'll probably be on for 4 hours trying to answer all the questions from last night and everything. So with that, I thank you very much. Thank everyone for the support. And we're now going to move on to answering the rest of our questions while I'm still watching super chats rolling in. And so with that, we're on to the next one.
All right. So up next, we have a $10 super chat from Master Chief 117, who says, I'm currently reading If You Survive, about an American fighting in Europe during World War II and how he loses his soldiers by the roll of the dice. We should appreciate the bravery of the Ukrainians.
And I thank you so much for the support, Master Chief. And I have read a lot of books about World War One, but sadly, I haven't read a lot of them about World War Two. You know, specifically, not like just overall history books, but specific books like that. But still, getting losing soldiers in a war is almost like a toss of the dice. They can be lost in situations where they were supposed to be safe. So I do understand where you're coming from. I don't know if you're talking about literally there. Maybe that's how they were assigning battle orders, was by the roll of the dice. I'm not really sure. But I do thank you so much for the support. And the Ukrainian soldiers are incredibly brave. It's just the fact that the country, at least on paper, should have been so heavily outnumbered that this is a David versus Goliath story of a sort, and that they're still there almost 5 months later fighting against the Russians and have never given up yet, or even shown signs of giving up. And so with that, I hope that does answer the question, and thank you once again for the support, Master Chief.
All right. And moving on, we have a $10 super chat from Santa Dean once again, who says, "Yes, you're on the list. I watch you daily, but this is the first time I've caught you live. I'm an old SAC B-52RN and B-1B OSO. The orcs will use a small nuke, probably on Kyiv, and we will respond alone."
Well, I thank you very much for the support, Santadine, and I hope that your predictions there do not come true, because that's going to be very bad for all of us. But then again, you do have a lot of experience in that field. Let's see, I hate to say it, Santadine, but I don't know what the specific abbreviations there mean. I try to figure that out, but I'm not good with military terminology. So let's pull that up. RN in military. RN in military. Let's just pull that up. Military nurse. Maybe you're a military nurse on a B-52. I don't know why they'd have a nurse on a B-52, but maybe. And then an OSO. OSO, U.S. Air Force. Let's see. Sadly, I can't find these answers too quickly, but you did work with a B-52 and a B-1 Lancer, so that is incredibly cool. And you must have been one of the rare few to work on a B-1 Lancer, because I don't think we even had a lot of those at their peak. So I thank you so much for the support, Sanadine, and it's good to hear that I am on the good list. I try my best. Of course, I always practice my P's and Q's. P's, Q's. And so thank you once again. So, oh man, I screwed it up. Well, I practiced my P's and Q's the best I could, but of course, every once in a while, everyone makes mistakes. So sorry about that. I'm going to try and talk less out of turn, but thank you so much for the support. It helps out our channel a whole load. And with that, we're going to move on to the next question.
All right. And moving on, we now have a question from Exploring with the Zunos, who puts in a $5 donation and says, "What do you think the Security Council meeting was about today? Keep on enforcing. You both demand."
Well, thank you so much for the support, and I'm glad that we are both the man. But sadly, I don't know what that Security Council meeting would have been about today. And on top of that, I have not had time to check today's news. Usually, I have to take care of college stuff and errands in the morning, and then later on in the day, I start to compile the news, and that's the first time I see the news for the day. I kind of sit back and don't try to collect the news as it comes through anymore, because I just let the picture kind of coalesce throughout the course of the day, and then about 4 hours before the stream, I sit there and I start putting together the picture for the day then. So sadly, I don't know about today's events yet. We're still talking about day 141 on here. And so with that, thank you once again for the support. I hope that does answer the question, and we are on to the next one.
All right. And moving on to the next one here, we have a $9 super chat from Craig Prescott, who says, "Would you consider doing a couple more earlier streams for European viewers? We are exhausted."
Well, I thank you so much for the support, but sadly, it's just very tough to do these kinds of midday streams for me. Just to kind of like guide y'all through my daily schedule. I wake up, I usually get to work on college immediately. Usually skip breakfast because I just don't like eating breakfast most of the time. Work on college, then every once in a while there may be errands, or that may be my only free time for the day. So I'll have about 2 hours or an hour of downtime in a day that's around the middle of the day to later on. Then usually supper has to be attended to, and that usually takes an hour and a half to get supper and then eat it. And then after I eat that, I immediately go to work on a summary video. The summary video is made, and then after that, I go and take a shower, and I usually take that as quick as I can. I come back downstairs, usually have it around another 15-minute break, so maybe I eat a snack or something then. Then I get to work on making the news for the stream. And then, once all of that news is compiled, I go upstairs. I have about 30 minutes left before the stream starts. I get a coffee, drink the coffee. Of course, it's always busy nitro cold brew. Then I come downstairs, tell all of y'all on Discord that the stream will be live in about 30 minutes. Then I turn on OBS and I put together everything for the stream. The thumbnail's already made and all that stuff. And then I click start stream. Well, no, Matthew gets on a call 5 minutes before. I click start stream. We go through the 10-minute countdown, and then y'all are with me for the rest of my working day. So sadly, schedule-wise, you may see the conflict there. I don't really have a lot of time to be able to do these often, because these still require some setup and lead-in before I do them. And if I was to do 2 streams of the same news twice per day, that would get incredibly exhausting for me. So sadly, due to fatigue reasons and also scheduling issues, I don't think we'd be able to do that, but once again, gotta count your blessings. I hope you're enjoying this one right now, and I hate that it really can't happen often. But with that, I hope that does answer the question, and we are on to the next one.
And yes, folks, just to mention it one more time, we will be on tonight at our usual time. I'm seeing many people ask that in the live chat. So have no fear. We'll be back at 10:10 p.m. EST. So I did see one more viewer from the live chat that put in a super chat from last night. Blue Flam 777 put in a $20 donation and said Putin is uglier than the average orc, but I still found fortitude to sink it.
Well, thank you very much for the support, Blue Flame. And I would have to agree, Putin is about one of the ugliest out there. I don't know about y'all, but he looks a lot like Dopey to me. Putin. Hopefully I don't get copyrighted by Disney for this, but I'm going to show this to y'all because I feel like the resemblance is striking. So there's Putin, ew. And then we pull up Dopey. Dopey dwarf. The man behind the slaughter. That's Vladimir Putin, if I've ever seen him. So with that, I hope that addresses the comment, Blue Flam, and thank you once again for the support. And with that, we are on to the next one.
All right, and moving on here, we have a $15 super chat from Krister Peterson, who does not leave a comment. But Krister, you've been around for a very, very long time. Thank you for doing so, and thank you for supporting the channel very much. Me and the Enforcer are very grateful for your longtime viewership and support. And moving on here, we have a $5 donation from Weathered Spartan, who says, Spectrum up here in Massachusetts is a hot garbage fire. Great stream, guys, and glory to Ukraine.
Well, thank you so much for the support, and I hate to hear that y'all are also having to suffer with Spectrum as well. Yeah, man, there's just so much to unpack about Spectrum, but we'll save that for a video on its own if the government cheese video is successful. So with that, I thank you so much for the support. I hope that does address the comment, and thank you once again for enjoying our channel and finding it worthy to support us. It is viewers like you who support our channel who keep us running, and so thank you once again. And with that, we're on to the next question.
All right, and next up we have an $8 super chat from Voitech CYVR, who says, Hi, and I'm glad to see you back. You are not alone with internet problems. Here, that is the big country north of you. On Friday, we had a big Rogers failure. Cell phones, internet, and 911 was down among others.
Jeez. Goodness, if that's the country north of us, then that must be Iran. Golly, that's terrible to hear y'all had those problems in Iran. And that's crazy, actually. I've never heard of that many systems going down at the same time, and on top of that, emergency systems like 911. But still, I thank you very much for the support. I'm glad to hear that we're not the only one having these kinds of problems, and thank you very much to our friends in Iran who are also watching the stream and wishing us well. And so thank you once again, Voitech CYVR, for the support. It's always cool to hear about our Iranian viewers, you know, because that's the country north of us. We actually live in the UAE, I think. The United States of America. Yeah, it looks close enough. And so with that, thank you so much for the support. Hope you enjoyed the little joke there. And with that, we are on to the next question.
And next up, we have a $5 super chat from Philippe Grandstrom once again, who says, Wait, am I the only one not getting paid for being here commenting? The Enforcer tricked me, and I want my money.
I'm so sorry, man, but I gotta give it to you. All 1,070 people watching right now are on my payroll. They are all paid 50 cents every day to get on here and comment. And of course, I'm kidding, because so believe it or not, but that'll actually get you into a lot of trouble on YouTube. And YouTube has ways of knowing if you're using bots or not, and they would have deleted my channel by now. In all seriousness, but I thank you very much for the support, and I also like the little joke you made right there. And so with that, we are on to the next one.
All right. And moving on, we have a $10 super chat from Captain Walrus, who says, "Hello, guys. Captain Walrus from The Hague, Netherlands, here to thank you for the news, and I've been watching since day 10. And today, my first live stream, so keep up the good work."
Well, thank you so much for the support, and that is really cool to hear. You are from The Hague in the Netherlands. Of course, The Hague is famous, because they're the ones who pretty much are the determining court in war crimes that occur, I believe, in just Europe. But still, thank you so much for the support, Captain Walrus, and enjoying our streams, and also catching the first live one. It is a rare occasion that we stream in the middle of the day, and of course, we're doing this due to internet connection issues that we had last night. But with that, I thank you once again for the support. I hope that does address the comment. And with that, we are on to the next one.
And up next, we have a super chat from Justin the Beaver, who says, "Sup," and puts in a $4 donation.
Sup? I voice cracked really bad on that one. But with
I
that,
would say.
but with that, thank you so much for the support. I hope that does address the sup. And with that, we are on to the next one.
All right. And up next, we have another $2 super chat from Exploring with the Zunos, who says, "Any idea what the Duma meeting was about today?"
Sadly, I do not. We don't know about that yet. I haven't been able to compile the news for today, and so sadly, I'm a little bit out of the loop right now on that. And so with that, I hope that does answer the question, and I thank you very much for the support. And with that, we are on to the next one. And remember, everyone, sip. And with that, we're on to the next one.
All right. And while everybody gets soused, I'm going to recognize our final two super chats of this stream. We have a $2 super chat from Arnold DeGans and a $2 super chat from Zach Jeffers. So thank you very much to both of you, Zach especially for being a Discord mod as well, and also to you, Arnold. I actually haven't seen Arnold's super chat before, so that might be his first one.
I thought we saw him
Have you
last
seen him
night.
before?
Yeah, I thought he super chatted last night.
I think that might have been from today, but maybe from last night. It might have gotten mixed up in the spreadsheet.
I'm not really sure, but of course, thank you to the Discord guard for supporting the channel. Zach is always here, and he's always supporting us, and also he's a Discord mod, so thank you once again for being in the holy trinity of all three of those things, and also thank you so much, what in the world? Arnold.
What?
I'm sorry. I was about to call him Anthony. I was like thinking of Mark Antony, but but thank you so much, Arnold, for your support. It helps out our channel greatly, and we're always appreciative to everyone who helps us to keep running. And so with that, we are going to move on to the next question. Before we do, how many super chats do we have left?
So for the moment, that is all the super chats we can address during this stream. The rest of them are super chats that we will have to save until tonight from last night. But we do have about 4 live chat questions that we need to get to whenever you're ready.
All right. And with that, we're going to answer these 4 live chat questions. And after that, we have to get off because believe it or not, we have to go and start figuring out what we are going to eat. And we also have to let our precious little corgis out of their cages because they've been in there for a while. And we have to, of course, wear them out, let them play a little bit, and give them all the hugs and kisses that little corgis need to survive. Corgis need a lot of affection to literally live. And so with that, we're going to answer these 4 live chat questions, and then we're going to round out this little fireside chat. So with that, we are on to the first one.
All right. So the first one from the live chat is from Christian Cruz, who says, "If you were young Russians, would you leave Russia and where would you go? Or would you stay and hope you don't get drafted?" And Christian, I will say for myself that if I was a young Russian, I would try to leave Russia, although I would be surprised if they don't have some way of controlling people from leaving at this point.
Oh, bled, if I was a young Russian, suka, bled, I would leave my little crappy town of Kazan, and I would travel by train all the way down to Grozny. And then once I get to Grozny, I would travel on foot across Caucasus Mountain because I'm such strong Russian man, and I would cross over into a nation of Georgia and live in Tbilisi for the rest of my life. Because of course they have no questions about that sort of stuff. And, and getting past the jokes, if I was a Russian, just to actually cover it by and large, I would try and get out of Russia as best as possible. I would not let myself be susceptible to a draft or being forced to sign a contract. So I hope that answers the question. And with that, I hope you enjoyed the little joke I made at the start too. And we are on to the next one.
All right. And up next, we have a question from Mishap Adventures, who says, "How big would you think the likelihood is for Belarus to help Russia close the Suwalki Gap?" And do you think that they would use the partisans as an excuse for this as well?
I think that the chance of the Belarusians actually um, weighing any military leverage against the Suwalki Gap is incredibly low. They hardly have a military to speak of, and on top of that, very little funding. So, to be honest with you, I don't really see them adding or contributing anything to that offensive whatsoever. Um, but the Russians could cause a problem here because it's such a small front line, such a small gap, really. It's only 40 miles in length. That if they did get the advantage, they may be able to cut it off for a short while, but it wouldn't really be able to form itself. It wouldn't really become deep, and it wouldn't really become strong. So, in that aspect, I think that the NATO countries could burst through it within just about a week or two of it actually being created. But I don't think the Belarusians would be able to contribute much to that. And so with that, I thank you so much for the support. I hope that does answer the question. And with that, we are on to the next one.
All right. And before we move on to our second to last live chat question, I have to recognize a $50 super chat that just came in from D Mills, who sent a super sticker of one of those YouTube little character things, I think a pair jumping around and destroying a city.
Oh, gee, that's a great description. I thought it was just hopping around and making the building shake, but you went Godzilla mode and said it's wiping
It's
out
Mr.
a
Lunchtime.
city. It's Mr. Lunchtime. Thank you so much for the support, emails. And I hate to see that Mr. Lunchtime is causing so much damage. It actually looks like he's stepping on an ammo depot because you can see the explosions right behind him.
I think so.
Yeah. And so with that, thank you once again for the massive support emails. It helps out our channel greatly, and we're incredibly appreciative of the support and the funny little sticker you sent in right there. And so with that, we're going to move on to the next question, and thank you once again for the support.
All right. And moving on, we have a question from Darren Young, who says, where did the train of tanks go that were in Crimea?
The train of tanks go that were in Crimea. They have most likely been moved to Melitopol at the rail yard there at this point, but then again, we're not entirely sure because we can only confirm things we see on video, and we haven't seen that train beyond that video. So sadly, can't really give you a surefire answer to that question, but based off of my assumption, I would assume that they were sent to Melitopol. And so with that, I hope that did answer the question to the best of our abilities, and thank you once again for throwing in a pretty interesting one, actually. And so with that, we are on to the last question of this stream, and then we will be rounding it out. And so with that, who is the lucky last person to send in the lucky last question?
All right, so that lucky viewer is Airgun Evolution, who says, is there any information on what happened to the Russian Terminators, hopefully terminated?
We have not actually heard about them anymore. We saw them around the Severodonetsk area around a month ago, and then they disappeared. The Russians have never shown them again. The Ukrainians have never shown any of them being destroyed, and so they may have been withdrawn from the front lines and brought there for nothing more than a propaganda stunt. That's something that we've been kind of assuming, but then again, we don't have any video evidence to show what's happened to them. And so as far as we know, they still may be there, but they may also not be there. They're kind of like Schrodinger's Terminator right now. So sadly, we can't really give you a straight, clear answer on that for now. But we will be looking at that, of course, like we look at everything. And if we get any information about what actually happened to them, of course, it will be on the news. So with that, I hope that does answer that question. And we have reached the end of this fireside chat. In total, it was really like an hour and 50 minutes long, but of course it got cut into two by internet connectivity issues. Hopefully we will not be having those tonight, but of course we will still be live tonight at 10 p.m. Eastern Time to be covering day 142 of the news of the past 24 hours of the war in Ukraine. So this is not the only stream of the day. There will be another one. But with that being said, I thank you all so much for watching once again. It is a great wonder to know that y'all all enjoy this channel so much to even be watching it on an off time of day such as this. And of course, we'll be looking forward to seeing you all tomorrow. Well, tonight, once again, at the 10 p.m. stream. Now I've sowed confusion into everyone's minds. It will be tonight. We have a stream running tonight at 10 p.m. Eastern Time. So with that, thank you all once again for watching, and I will see you all then. Have a great rest of the day for some of y'all. Have a great night for some of y'all who will not be watching the stream and going to sleep. Regardless of what you're doing, I hope you have a great time, and we'll see you in just a few hours. Take care, and I would say good night, but it's not the night for us. So just take care. I'll see y'all then.
Russia. Oh,